Hello, and welcome to UNA Today. I'm Zach Denton.
And I'm Claire Hendrickson.
Thank you for joining in with us for today's campus and local news.
The San Francisco 49ers danced all the way to the NFC Championship this past season before they fell to the eventual Super Bowl champions, the Los Angeles Rams. The main reason many point to? Famed superstar wide receiver Deebo Samuel. Now their superstar decided this past weekend that he wants to be traded away from the organization. Samuel, a second-round pick in the 2019 NFL Draft, exploded this past season for the 49ers offense by becoming a hybrid talent. A flurry of backfield options dealt with injuries throughout the season, which allowed head coach Kyle Shanahan to open up the playbook. Samuel turned into a running back and wide receiver combo that sparked the San Francisco offense in the second half of the season en route to a deep playoff run. In the 2021-2022 season, he caught 77 passes for 1,405 yards, along with 6 touchdowns for the year. He rushed 59 times for 365 yards and added 8 more touchdowns on the ground. Overall, Samuel totaled 14 touchdowns and touched the ball 136 times throughout the season. However, a report has come out that Deebo Samuel no longer wants the role of the hybrid star that he currently is for the 49ers. He mentioned that he would like to be traded to a different team, to where he can reassume the lone wide receiver role. San Francisco offered Samuel a large contract to resign to the team, but Samuel seems to believe that the wear and tear on his body is not something that he would like to continue to do. Many teams are in on trading for Samuel, and we'll keep you updated with more.
On April 14th, UNA students gathered at Memorial Amphitheater in a protest against sexual assault and the fraternity Pi Kappa Alpha, also known as Pike. This protest follows a recently published article by the Flor-Ala newspaper that highlights 3 victims of sexual assault on campus. Students were handing out copies of the campus newspaper and supported victims of sexual assault by holding up those copies and other signs, as well as chanting phrases such as "no means no" and words against Pike. Luckily, the UNA Police Department was there to ensure all students were safe during the protest. The article, titled "I Didn't Want to Call It Rape," was published on the same day as the protest and has been gaining in popularity ever since. It highlights 3 women who have spoken up against a freshman who raped them. The night before, approximately 1,000 copies of the newspaper were stolen from newspaper bins. The suspect, members of Pike. The student, whom the 3 women accused of rape in the article, was also a member of Pike, but has since been suspended from the fraternity and is pending further judicial action. With the protest, students were able to spread the word about the article, and the individual who stole nearly 1,000 copies has also been suspended from Pike.
Dwayne Haskins is a former football player and quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers, Washington Commanders, and Ohio State Buckeyes. On April 9, 2022, the 24-year-old was struck by an oncoming dump truck on I-595 in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Haskins was in Florida to participate in team drills with his Pittsburgh Steelers teammates. Mitch Trubisky, the suspected day 1 starter for the Steelers, was hosting the team in his Florida home. An audio released of Haskins calling his wife, Calabria Haskins, to tell her that his car had run out of gas on the side of I-595. He mentioned that he had to get out of the car and cross the interstate to get more gas for his car. He left her with the message that as soon as he returned, he would call her back. His wife awaited a phone call but grew nervous as time passed with no response. She called a 911 dispatcher, which informed her of a wreck in the area but could not confirm that her husband was involved. A final crash report indicated that Haskins was walking on the westbound side of I-595 when he entered into the travel lane. The dump truck was traveling through the center lane when the front left of his vehicle struck Haskins. The report mentions that Haskins was improperly in the roadway and that the driver was cleared of all fault, since no actions of his own contributed to the accident. 2 more cars that were traveling alongside the initial truck struck Haskins as well. The latter 2 cars, per eyewitnesses and an investigation, seemed to perform evasive maneuvers to avoid Haskins, but struck him on the right side. Haskins was pronounced dead on the scene. Haskins leaves behind a young professional football career, his wife and family, and his passion to impact the world. Haskins would have turned 25 years old on May 3rd this year.
The Deshaun Watson era for the Houston Texans is officially over as they traded him to the Cleveland Browns. The Texans receive a haul for their former quarterback as they get 3 first-round picks from the 2022 to 2024, one 2023 third-round pick, and 2 fourth-round picks in both 2022 and 2024. The Browns received Watson and a 2024 sixth-round pick in the deal. Of course, this made major headlines as this comes after some clarification in the legal process for Watson, but also since he did not play the previous season. However, the bigger news in this deal is that the Cleveland Browns spent their first overall pick in the 2018 draft on their franchise quarterback, Baker Mayfield, and he is still on the roster. Mayfield made aware of the situation through social media of his team being interested in another quarterback. Came as a surprise to him. As soon as social media made him aware, it was made known that Watson had cut the Browns from his list of teams that he wanted to be traded to, as that included the Panthers, Falcons, Saints, and Pittsburgh. Mayfield seemed to have calmed down from the situation and spoke with management about the upcoming year. As quickly as the story died, it arose from the ashes as only 2 days later, Watson announced that he wanted to be traded to the Browns. It seems the main reason that Watson changed his mind came to be the $250 million fully guaranteed contract. This is the most money ever allotted to any player that was fully guaranteed, meaning that no matter what happens with Watson, he will be paid that amount of money. Now Mayfield, with Watson on the roster, has made his feelings known that he would like to be traded. 2 teams to keep an eye on for a potential trade could be the Seattle Seahawks and the Carolina Panthers. The only thing holding teams back from this is his 5th-year option on his contract that is worth $18 million. The Browns are looking to win now with the big roster that they have to make a big splash with acquiring Watson.
There is a growing fear in North Alabama when it comes to drug use. And with reports of the recent fentanyl bust in Florence on April 16th, these concerns have become much greater. 25-year-old Martyria Shamer Adams was arrested after police found a total of 2,800 fentanyl pills in his possession upon obtaining a search warrant for Adams' residence. Fentanyl is an extremely powerful opioid that has caused a huge surge of overdose deaths. Fentanyl overdoses continue to reach record highs in the U.S., and with almost $60,000 worth of fentanyl pills being seized in Florence just last weekend, this topic shouldn't be taken lightly. Chuck Hearn, director of the Lauderdale County Drug Task Force, warns that what makes fentanyl even more dangerous is its ability to be disguised as other drugs. They are counterfeit pills marked as if they were a normal pill. Some of the things that people take on the street are not what they seem, and overdoses are increasing, not just here, but everywhere, said Hearn. Adams was charged with attempt to commit a controlled substance crime, and a full investigation is ongoing.
Terrible events unfolded on April 12th at American Wholesale Book Company in Florence. While the overall case is still under investigation, what we do know is that 27-year-old Jason Montalto was shot and stabbed while working at AWBC around 9 p.m. According to police, Donovan Forbes shot Montalto once and then stabbed him in the neck and head area. The victim was quickly flown to Vanderbilt for treatment. Forbes is being charged with attempted murder and is currently being held on a $60,000 bond. Terry Finley, CEO of Books A Million Company, reached out to all associates and partners of AWBC following the incident. There were heroes in our midst on that awful night. AWBC associates stepped up to restrain and detain the perpetrator, while others tended to Jason's needs until the first responders could take over, said Finley. He then continued to say, all of our associates who have carried on in the days since have been shared a demonstration of strength and resilience, which we acknowledge, and for which we are extremely grateful. Montalto has since been confirmed as responsive.
The Kennedy Douglas Center for the Arts is a great place to visit right here in Florence, Alabama. Walking in, you may expect to simply view pieces of artwork, but will be pleasantly surprised to learn of the rich history of the beautiful and historic Kennedy Douglas House, which is a work of art in itself. Furnished with Tudor-style furniture, including a hall chest, folding screen, desk, chair, bedside tables, and a clock. These impressive pieces were made in the 1930s and hand-carved by Harry Salden. The Kennedy Douglas Center for the Arts is displayed to over 100 pieces of art involved in the Artistic Renderings of Youth project, a project described as giving an insight into the mind of a child. while also allowing children to create fun depictions of popular movie characters, cartoon characters, scenery, and animals. Several paintings feature the use of tissue paper to create texture or newspaper for the background. One piece featured painted butterflies on the top of a news article about Ukraine. Another art piece featured 3 different facial expressions, each a different color. The artwork is described as associating the color and the emotion on each face. Red to show anger, yellow to show happiness, and blue to show sadness. The lips and lower half of the face cannot be seen in this painting. Focus is placed on the eyes being the window to the soul.
On April 15th, the University of North Alabama Lion Battalion hosted its annual military ball at the Strickland Hotel in downtown Florence. The UNA ROTC program has been a part of the university since 1948, when the university established the first corps of cadets to produce officers for the U.S. Army. Since that time, UNA's ROTC alumni have been engaged in every conflict from World War II to operations in Iraq and Afghanistan. Speakers at the military ball included UNA alumni Colonel Scott Rawlinson, who recently served as the Director of Public Affairs for the U.S. Army Forces Command, the largest Army command consisting of 750,000 active Army, Army Reserve, and Army National Guard soldiers. While serving as the Director of Public Affairs, he implemented the first crisis communication policy in the Department of Defense. He received his commission as a military intelligence officer in 1996 through the UNA ROTC program. Colonel Rawlinson was centrally selected by the Army to serve as a Division Public Affairs Officer for the 2nd Infantry Division from 2014 to 2015 in Korea. There, he implemented the announcement of the transition to the 2nd Infantry Division ROK-US Combined Division. He was then reassigned as the Director of the U.S. Army Public Affairs Midwest in Chicago, Illinois from 2015 to 2017. One of 3 field officers supporting community relations programs in a 16-state region throughout America's heartland. Colonel Rawlinson was then assigned as the Director of Public Affairs for the 18th Airborne Corps. In this role, he deployed the support of Operation Inherent Resolve, or OIR, as a combined Joint Task Force spokesperson from 2018 to 2019. Colonel Rawlinson holds a bachelor's degree in journalism from the University of North Alabama, a master's degree in broadcasting from the University of Alabama, and is a graduate of the Army West War College Fellowship Program at Duke University.
There's been a recent dispute here in Florence, and of all things, it's over music. Tracy and Chad Burdine are owners of Picket Place, a popular event and venue location for weddings, parties, showers, and more, located on North Seminary Street in Florence. Because of Picket Place's location in town, there are certain rules and regulations that must be followed, such as no loud music being played after 9 p.m. However, Florence City Council President William Jordan called news station Way 31 on April 20th with complaints from him and other residents about music being played after the 9 o'clock curfew. While the Burdines have previously asked for permission to hold events with amplified music until 11 p.m., their attempts were denied. The City Council President denies having anything to do with revoking the Burdines' efforts. When interviewed about the situation, Tracy Burdine told Way 31, "We make sure we are following the law and doing the things the right way. Now we have to worry about our city councilman basically bullying us all the time." Jordan has said he will present the compromise of Picket Place allowing music until 10 to the City Council at the next meeting. For now, we will continue following this story as it unfolds.
The Shoal Smash series hosted the return of their monthly Super Smash Bros. Ultimate Tournament yesterday at the UNA Baptist Campus Ministries. The tournament, titled Florence Frame Series, Frame 5, gathered over 40 players from across the state, from places such as Birmingham and Huntsville, as well as other southeastern players from Mississippi and Tennessee. Frame 5 included both a singles and doubles event, with 16 entrants into doubles for a total of 8 teams. Entry to the tournament was $10 per person, as well as an extra $5 if someone wanted to enter doubles with a partner. All of the proceeds went back to the top 3 players in the singles bracket and the top 2 team in the doubles bracket. Doubles was won in a decisive victory by the players Pajarito and Danny, 2 of the top players in Tennessee. However, the singles bracket was the main focus of the tournament. Physique, a player from Birmingham, upset the #1 player in the state, Chile, in their winners quarterfinals match. Chile was the first seed, while Physique was seeded 8th. However, that upset did not stop Chile from making a loser's run of the ages. Chile played 6 more sets, including a run back against Physique, in order to win it all, placing first over 45 other players. The Shoal Smash Series returns tonight for their weekly local tournament at 6 p.m. at the For the Win game store.
The NBA playoffs are underway. In the Eastern Conference, the Miami Heat are taking on the Atlanta Hawks. The Boston Celtics are playing the Brooklyn Nets. The Milwaukee Bucks are facing the Chicago Bulls, and the Philadelphia 76ers are playing the Toronto Raptors. Looking over to the Western Conference, we see the Phoenix Suns versus the New Orleans Pelicans, the Memphis Grizzlies versus the Minnesota Timberwolves, Golden State Warriors versus Denver Nuggets, and the Dallas Mavericks versus the Utah Jazz. This is the first round of the playoffs, and after this round, we will only have 8 teams left total. The NBA Finals are set to take place from June 2nd to June 19th. Currently, the Golden State Warriors have the best odds to win the championship according to Las Vegas. The defending champions, Milwaukee Bucks, have the 6th best odds to repeat, and the Denver Nuggets have the worst odds at plus 50,000. So far, only the Brooklyn Nets have yet to win a game and are currently down 3-0 against the Boston Celtics. We will continue to monitor the playoffs closely as time goes on.
Miguel Cabrera entered Saturday's game against the Colorado Rockies with 2,999 hits total, which ranged him 34th of all time in Major League Baseball. However, in the first inning, Cabrera was able to hit a single into right field, notching his 3,000th career hit. Only 33 players have ever reached this feat in the major leagues. It took Cabrera 20 years to mark off this historic number. He is currently 39 years old and has achieved great success over his career. He has over 500 home runs and a career batting average of .310. Over the course of the 20 seasons, Cabrera has played 15 years in Detroit for the Tigers and 5 years as a member of the Florida Marlins, where he won a World Series championship in 2003. He has also collected 4 batting title awards, 2 MVP awards, 7 Silver Slugger awards, and a Triple Crown winner, which means he led the league in home runs, batting average, and RBIs in one season. He has been selected to the All-Star team 11 times. Many people speculate whether or not he will retire at the end of the season, considering he has reached his goal of 3,000 hits. Whether or not he chooses to do so, he has been able to have a very successful career as a professional baseball player.
The National Football League, or the NFL for short, is set to have their first-year players draft on Thursday evening. This will be a 3-day event coming to a conclusion on Saturday night. The draft will consist of 7 rounds and 32 picks for each round. For the first 4 picks, also known as lottery picks, we will go to the Jacksonville Jaguars, the Detroit Lions, the Houston Texans, and the New York Jets. According to NFL.com writer and draft analyst Chad Reuter, he believes that the Jaguars will select Aiden Hutchinson of Michigan. The Lions will select Kenny Pickett of Pittsburgh. The Texans will select Sauce Gardner of Cincinnati, and the Jets will select Trayvon Walker of Georgia. The first Alabama player that is predicted to be taken in is offensive lineman Evan Neal. Neal is projected to be drafted by the Carolina Panthers with the 6th pick. The draft can always change as teams are allowed to trade picks and players on the night of the draft. Many experts believe this draft may not be as strong as others have been, but it should be exciting nonetheless.
Our next story today should be a racket, because we interviewed freshman men's tennis player Nazar Federation, and now he's adjusted to UNA lifestyle. Nazar is from Ukraine and has only been in the United States for 4 months and is making his mark. With the tragic war that is still going on in his hometown, Nazar still finds a way to help. He and the university collaborated to collect humanitarian supplies to be shipped to Ukraine in Collier Library April 20th. First aid kits, masks, food, sleeping bags, and more were collected. Shifting over to his tennis life, he mentioned that American tennis is so fast. It is much faster than Ukraine. I had to adapt to that, and I found it important to have a really good serve in America. If there's anything that Nazar wanted to let people know about tennis, is that millions of people don't know that tennis is so cool and interesting to watch. People have to know more than the surface. The men's tennis player advises others to be patient, confident, and persistent. take everything in your own hands and work hard. And finally, never give up. The 2022 season is over for the Lions as they ended with a record of 3-17 overall. Nazar said his goals for the next season are to earn more wins throughout the season and reach the ASUN championship as a team.
Monday, April 18th, was North Alabama's 8th annual Players' Choice Awards, but as the players like to call it, the Tunas. The award show was a way to recognize and reward the athletes around campus for their accomplishments for their respected sport. Congratulations to the following winners: Melia Hargett and KJ Smith for the 2021-22 Lion, Queen, and King. Peyton Youngblood for the Grady Lyles Leadership Award. Candace Buford, Quinn Petty, Amari Bothwell, and Victoria Wendell for the Hype Man and Woman Awards. And Mr. and Miss Clutch went to Carter Goodwin and Skylar Gill. Skylar Gill, Hina Suzuki, and the rest of the women's basketball team went home with a lot of hardware as they were the most decorated team with individual awards. Suzuki received Female Overall Breakthrough Athlete and Female Comeback of the Year. She already received the Winter Winners for Life Award and continues to work hard. Rookie of the Year awards went to Skylar Gill, Daniel Ortiz, and Hanukkah Narita. Julia Strachan and Parker Driggers received the Best Individual Game Performance. The Team Leader Award was for women's basketball was earned by Patricia Yavorska. Congratulations to the beach volleyball team as they won both the highest GPA and Community Service Awards. Peggy Wingo received the Half Self-Achievement Award, Steve and Sheila Pierce earned the Friend of the Lion Award, and Dr. Eric Kirkman won the Faculty and Staff Award. And to top it all off, the crowd got a special appearance from the strength coach for UNA Athletics. Coach Steve felt some type of way about a comment that was made about him. You just had to be there to see it. With all jokes aside, the athletes of UNA had a great time, dressed to the nines, and represented their team well at the Players' Choice Awards. Congratulations to the winners.
Now let's take it to Reagan with UNA's beach volleyball feature.
My name's Natalie Court. My nickname is Nati, N-E-T-I, and I'm from Germany. So what I like to do for my mental health is just do something outside of volleyball school that I enjoy doing. So for example, just going to the gym by myself. I like to go to the park, and I love doing creative stuff like painting. Personal goals were to work a lot of on my technique and on things that I struggled with in the last season. So pretty technical things where I was like, oh, like I can't get that ball, but I would just work on it in practice, and then I would try in a game, and it's like, oh, I actually ended up touching the ball and keeping the ball alive, and that's really what beach volleyball is about. It's about keeping the ball alive and pretty much scoring out of a ball where everybody thought, yeah, that's a point for the other team.
If you had an opportunity to see your past self, what would you say there?
I think to never give up and put yourself first. Not necessarily in a selfish way,
great day, and as always, thank you for joining in with us at UNA Today. I'm Claire Hendrickson.
And I'm Zach Denton.